Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today I want to talk about a spiritual awakening, and this will apply to you whether you are just at the beginning of your spiritual awakening or you've been awakening now for years. The one thing that I want to touch on, and I think that is most important, and I think that this is like a big misconception, is that a spiritual awakening is a journey. It is not a destination. It is not something that you go through. And I kind of chuckle sometimes when I hear people say, when I went through my spiritual awakening, I laugh because our awakening never ends. Our learning never ends. Our evolving never ends. There is never an end to it. So the idea that it's something that you're going to go through maybe for 6 months or for a year, and then you're going to be done with it and, move on with your life is a misconception. You will continue to learn. You will continue to have to do the work. And now, doing the work was something that I was kind of confused about, and I really didn't understand what people meant when they were like, do the work, do the work, do the work. Doing the work is doing the inner work. When you start to go through a spiritual awakening, and even through the rest of your life of awakening, things will be brought up. And whether that is something that will be brought up from your childhood or your past or even a past life, like past karmic things that you're holding on to, they're coming up to be processed, and they will come up in a way of emotion. Sometimes you'll be triggered by something, sometimes you won't, sometimes it'll be completely out of the blue. And what you have to understand is that that's okay, and that you need to just feel that emotion, experience that emotion in that moment. If you can, you don't want to suppress it, you don't want to push it down again, because then it's just going to come up at a more inconvenient time. So emotions are energy in motion. Emotion, they want to be felt, they want to be expressed, they want to deliver a message, and then they want to keep it moving, and they want to keep going. They don't want to be suppressed, and they don't want to be trapped inside of your body. They want to keep going, so just let them go. So experience them, honor them, don't fight it. Sometimes when you fight it, you feel like you're pulling at that rope, and that creates that resistance. Just mentally let go of the rope. Just let it be there, and it will pass sooner than you want. So that's one way of doing the work. The other work that needs to be done is the complete unprogramming and reprogramming of your belief systems. Once you go through a spiritual awakening, one of the biggest things is you will come to find that almost everything you've been taught, almost everything that you've learned, almost everything that you know, you don't actually know, is different, is something that for example, one of the biggest things in society is that, you grow up, you get an education, you find a steady job, you find a job that, provides you with the income and the benefits, and, then, once you have that, then you get married and you start a family, and it's just kind of like, checking off these boxes. Well, we're not here to check off boxes. That's not what our life is about. We're not here to fit into this mold that society is telling us that we have to fit in. We're here to grow. We're here to evolve. And how can we grow and evolve if we're kept in this little box of being the same as everyone else? If we were meant to be the same as everyone else, we would all be the same, don't you think? But we're all different, and I think that's amazing. That's what makes us us. That's what makes this world so beautiful, is that we are all different, and we are all unique, and we have different wants and desires, and we have different ways of learning and different ways of experiencing things. We all experience things through different lenses, and that is Amazing. I'm sorry, the dog's crying if you can hear him, Lorenzo. But yeah, so that is another way we need to do the work, because once you start to experience a spiritual awakening, you're like, wow, I'm the creator of my reality. Things happen for me. Wow, on a very deep level, we are all one, and on a very deep level, we are all God. We all come from one energy, so how could we not be that one energy? We are. So once you start to realize things, you start to want to like bust out of that mold, and it is not comfortable. And it is not all blissful. It is painful sometimes, and it is hard sometimes, and it is hard because as humanity, like, yes, people have been going through a spiritual awakening for thousands of years, since the beginning of humanity. That's what we're here to do. But as far as a collective, as far as a whole, we were kind of just at the beginning of the collective waking up. So it's easy to, you can either close yourself in and surround yourself with only the things that you choose, which is great, is kind of like what you need to nurture yourself. But sometimes your eyes are then open to like, oh, wow, not everybody thinks this way. Not everybody feels this way. And sometimes that's hard. And especially when you start to break out of the mold and you yourself want to do something different, it's hard because not everyone understands, and not everyone is supportive, and not everyone is loving and gets it. But that's okay. Because if you are waking up right now, and if you have been awakened, you have been chosen. You are a leader. You are a leader in this awakening, and we need you. Don't go back to sleep. Because going back to sleep is just, kind of nice. Like in the movie The Matrix, the guy who wants to go back and enjoy steak and drink wine and will do anything to do that. You can be awakened and you can enjoy food and wine. That's fine. So don't be him, and just understand that you will have to be a leader, and you will go through some things that are uncomfortable and that you may not want to, but one, it's for the greater good, and one, it is for your highest good as well. So keep doing the work, keep experiencing those emotions and letting them go, keep learning those lessons, keep growing, keep evolving. Because in between all of that, in between doing the work, and once you have done a lot of work, your work will continue, it is a journey, you will be able to experience moments of joy, moments of bliss that people could only dream of. And I'm not saying that you're going to create, when you create your dream car and your dream life, at that point you will experience that joy. No, you will experience that joy in moments that are completely unexpected, in moments where you say, wow, I shouldn't be feeling this joyful right now, but there's a light in my heart that is burning so bright, and my entire being is just immersed in this beautiful joy and this beautiful bliss. And these moments will come out of nowhere. These moments will be at times when you're doing nothing. They could be at times when you're suffering. They could be at times where you don't think that you should be experiencing this joy, and you will experience that joy. And that is only one of the beauties of a spiritual awakening. So I encourage you to stay on that path. I encourage you to keep doing that work. And this message is just as much for me as it is for you. I constantly need that reminder. I'm constantly going back to the basics of, yes, keep doing that work. I am triggered still, but luckily I'm aware now that I know that when I'm being triggered for something, I stop and I take a look at it. I'm like, why was I so triggered? In the moment, I just try and breathe and not be reactive. But when that emotion passes, I'm like, oh, I was really triggered by that. Why? and I usually will be able to trace it back to something, and it's like, okay, I need to do a little more work in, you know, in this area. That's something that I haven't completely processed and let go of yet. And it's a cycle, and it keeps going and going and going, but don't be discouraged, because every moment is more beautiful than the past. So keep going. That's all I have to say. And that is my message for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And my name is Anne, and I will see you next time, my friend.